I have some Harbor Freight sandpaper here. I got some wet dry, you know, 400 what I start with, then I go to 1,000, then I step it to 1,500, and then I go to 2,000 grit. So that basically covers me. I do it in 4 steps when I polish the crankshaft journals. And then what I'll do is, I've got some of that like paracord, whatever. I've got a piece cut over here that I was using on this other crankshaft for the 6-liter. But that's what I use to basically twist the whole thing around. So what I'll do is, I'll find myself the width of the rod journal, or the width of the main journal, and then I'll fold the piece of paper to where it fits, like right to the edges, and then I'll cut it so that way I have something to grip the shoestring or paracord, whatever, so that I can get it to twist back and forth across the journal. So I'll make my little strips. These ones are ones I used on that crankshaft over there on the main journals. See, so they fit right in there, and then I can wrap that around, wrap the shoestring around, and polish it. So I'll get all those pieces of paper set up. I got all my sandpaper cut. I got my small ones here, you know, the 400, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. Then the big ones, same way, 400, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. I've got those all cut to go ahead and start polishing these on this 5.3 crank. Now, the 5.3 crank here isn't horrible, but it's not the best. Some of the mains are, you can feel some of those scratches. You can feel some of the scoring in there. Rod journals, not so much. The mains, yeah, there's a little bit of one right there on that rod. Mostly the mains, though, I think. Yeah, but I did burn 2 pistons on that motor out in Vegas, so I'm just going to polish that up, clean it up. What I'll do is I'll start with a main and a rod, kind of show you how that goes, and then, you know, I won't bore you with the rest of it. I did get all the hardware cleaned up. I found and cleaned up for the mains on the block, so I will get that all torqued down. Jeff did buy a Craftsman torque wrench that actually does torque angle, just to make life a little bit easier with all the torque to yield, torque angle stuff. So hopefully this crankshaft will come out looking at least as good as that crankshaft there. And then this morning, the Amazon guy, delivery dude, brought in some Engine Tech bearings. Now, don't be fooled, Engine Tech are relatively inexpensive bearings, and they're pretty basic, but they're just as good as the stock bearings, because they are the silicone aluminum, whatever. They're not like a tri-metal bearing like Clevite 77 or whatever. They're just basically like the stock, but they are King bearings that are repackaged into the Engine Tech brand. You can see, I don't know if you can see it in there, but those are standard size. So we do have the bearings, rod bearings, and then of course main bearings for the 6-liter to go into the Cadillac, because like I said, Jeff was like, I'm not reusing bearings, put new stuff in. So I will go ahead and get all these cleaned up, because they're going to go into that 6.0 block sitting back there with this crankshaft here. And of course, all the pistons and rods for that one are in the parts cleaner, so I'll get them cleaned up and get them in. So I've cut this. It's folded. If you're a little bit off, you can actually take, I just have like this kitchen type scissor stuff from Harbor Fake, and you know, you can just trim off the edge if you need to. Not the folded side, but the open side. Trim it to fit around there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this around. I'm going to get this tucked up in here. And then I'll take this and I will pull that through. I'll wrap that around a couple of times, and then basically, this is not gonna want to start. Gonna make a showcase out of me instead of what I'm supposed to be doing here with this thing, cleaning up this crankshaft. Yes. Come on. This is not liking to do this at all. Some people will cut the sandpaper where it wraps around and butts up against itself perfect. And I may end up having to do that if this doesn't start cooperating. Nobody ever said being cheap was easy. Man. This is a pain in the butt. Okay. It gave me an imprint of actually where that is. So this is so rough. I'm going to go ahead and try trimming that off, because that was a real pain in the butt. That seems to be working a little bit better. Come on. All right, you can feel it start smoothing out, and the objective of the rope being wrapped around it, shoestring, whatever, is twofold. One is to get it to roll. The other is to keep an even pressure all the way around so that you're actually sanding it even all the way. Whew. So that journal is looking better. I could feel the change as I was coming up on the end there. Now let's step it up to 1,000. Fine. Be that way. Maybe. Did I get it? Probably just screwed it up like everything else. That was close. Okay, that's working. Phew. Whew. So it takes a little while. It takes a fair amount of energy and desire, but you don't have to pay an arm and a leg, and you don't have to wait for weeks for a machine shop to get you your crankshaft back after polishing it. So, you know, there's benefits, I guess. Music makes a job like this go so much faster and easier. So yeah, you can see there's legitimately a difference on that rod throw now from the others. You can see, and it's polished real nice. My fingernail doesn't catch anything. You know, just take some elbow grease and some time. I will go ahead and do that to the whole rest of the crank without boring you, and then we can measure up bearings and crankshaft and measure our oil clearances on our bearings, and everything should be good. So after that. Way longer than expected, but I did take a break and go gallivant around town, and I picked up a turbo 400 transmission with a broken bell housing, short tail shaft, out of like a, I don't know, like a 66 Impala or something with the 396 or something. But I bought it from a guy off a marketplace for like 50 bucks. So that, I think I can turn around and end up getting some net gain to go towards the net zero on this project, because basically I have I bought 4 packs of sandpaper, 400, 1000, 1500 and 2000 from the Harbor Freight, and I ended up using 1 sheet of each to do this and polish that one over there. So basically I used like $4 of sandpaper already, but here's the polish on the crankshaft. Now you can see, here's the number 3 main. You can still see some grooves in that one, and you can hear it. But it's polished, it's nice. This is gonna get what it is. So those are all polished up to like 2000, and you know, for a crankshaft that was in an engine that melted 2 pistons and pretty much ate itself with compound turbos, that's not too bad, I don't think. So I consider that one a win. And what I'll do is I got all those bolts, they're ready to be torqued, so I will torque them down. I will measure, and then I will measure my journals on the crankshaft, and I will make the difference, and then I will see what the oil clearance is between these throws and mains on the crankshaft and the bearings in the block and the bearings for the piston rods. So yeah, this one's my own deal, so I'm just trying to slop it together like some high school kid would, or somebody who doesn't really have the money to go enjoy the racing scene with everybody else, but has a little to throw out there. So anyhow, that's how you polish the crankshaft. It's just running these. Sometimes I use this rubber strap from Harbor Freight. It's like this little wide strap, and it does better for a lot of the big stuff on the wider journals for the rod throws, just because it's more contact patch. But I ended up using just the you can hardly, it's all black and nasty now, all this paracord stuff there, but hey, it's worth it. It's worth it. So getting close on being done on that end of it. I've done polishing, thank goodness. And yeah, so I'll get this video up, and I will see you guys on the next one.